Tonight on WNWO News at 6.
Tragedy strikes the Tiffin community when 6 people, including 5 children, are killed in a fire. A community comes out one more time to remember baby Elena.
And we're tracking showers across the area this evening. I'll tell you how long the rain will last and when we might see a bit of a warm-up.
Good evening, everyone. You're watching WNWO News at 6 o'clock. I'm Brian Madrick. We begin tonight in Tiffin, where an early morning fire kills a family of 6. 5 of those people were just children. WNWO's Eric Wildstein has been on the scene all day and joins us live in Tiffin. Eric?
Brian, certainly a horrific tragedy here today in Tiffin. This fire began police and fire crews responded around 8 a.m. this morning when they got reports of a fire at this trailer that you see behind me. Now, this is the home of Anna Angel, where she lived with her 25-year-old boyfriend, Timothy Fresh, and her 5 children. Now, Anna Angel had already left for work when the fire began. Fire crews crawled underneath the trailer and up through the floorboards to get inside. Neighbors say flames were shooting out of the back windows as crews worked very quickly to get everyone out. 4 bodies were carried out the back door, with the other 2 coming out of the front. They were sent to Mercy Hospital in Tiffin, where all 6 were pronounced dead. Here's what neighbors remembered about today's tragic events.
I just seen like 10-foot flames coming out them 2 windows over there, and smoke was rolling. And by that time, Rick came over, and we sat here and watched them. You know, fire department showed up, and we watched them haul the kids out. That was. I wish I wouldn't have seen that.
I come out here at 6:45 this morning and walk my dogs, and there was nothing. It was like serenity. I come out here at 7:45 and it's disastrous.
Now, the fire marshal said the cause of the blaze is under investigation. Neighbors told me a fight broke out at the property around 9:30 p.m. last night. Police did not comment on whether that incident may have played a factor in today's fire. Now, we found out that Anna is currently staying with her mother, who lives in Tiffin, as she tries to pick up the pieces of her life. And she leaves behind 5 children and a boyfriend. Bryant, back to you.
Thank you, Eric. Such a sad story and such a tragedy down in Tiffin. A lot of questions remain, but one thing we do know is that it was very chilly, not just in Tiffin, but throughout our area last night. Meteorologist Brittany Patterson joins us now live in the Weather Center to tell us how cold it actually was last evening. Good evening, Brittany.
Good evening, Brian. Yeah, it was another blast of fall last night and a chilly day today. Let me take you out to a scene we saw in Fostoria early this morning. Daybreak temperatures right around the upper 40s. As we got through the day today, a mix of sun and clouds to start the day, but clouds have since thickened through the afternoon. That's really kept temperatures down once again this afternoon. And with some of those clouds, we have seen a few sprinkles develop across the area. Those overnight lows did fall into the upper 40s across most of our area. 49 in Tiffin, 48 here in the Glass City, even cooler north of the Michigan-Ohio border, 43 the overnight low in Tiffin. Daytime highs today making it into the upper 60s, even some 70s out there. We eventually will have some warmer weather on the way. Still another somewhat cool day for your day tomorrow, along with additional rain chances the rest of this evening. We'll have the full breakdown in your forecast coming up. Bryant.
Thanks a lot, Brittany. Well, a Texas man is dead tonight after crashing his motorcycle in Wood County. The sheriff's office says the accident happened on U.S. Route 6 on the railroad tracks near Weston after 5:30 Saturday afternoon. Investigators say 2 people were riding on the motorcycle when it struck a railroad crossing gate, which witnesses say was flashing. The motorcycle traveled off the side of the road, and 62-year-old Robert Thies of Bells, Texas, died at the scene. His passenger, 50-year-old Dinette Powers of Weston, suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Another motorcycle accident, this time in Putnam County. The sheriff's office says this one happened shortly before 10 last night on Road 5F and Road 5. According to investigators, 55-year-old Steve Gurton of Lipsick was riding his motorcycle when he lost control around a curve on Road 5F. He drove off the road and struck a power pole. Gurton was taken to St. Rita's Medical Center in Lima. The crash remains under investigation. Today, a community took time to remember the life of toddler Elena Steinfurth. People gathered in the same lot at Leonard and Federal Streets where previous vigils were held to pay their respects and support the family. Police discovered human remains that belonged to the toddler last Thursday in the same neighborhood where she went missing on June 2nd. Today's turnout was touching for family members.
It's real lifting. I've said it before, I can't imagine you can imagine how many people actually care. And they come out of people from everywhere. And it's real heartwarming to see that many people care enough to come and help support you in a time like this.
The family says they will no longer hold vigils they held every Wednesday and Saturday. Today marks the end of a Toledo tradition. For more than 50 years, Raceway Park has been one of the premier sports and entertainment destinations in Northwest Ohio. Raceway Park first opened its doors in 1959. Penn National Gaming, the company that owns Raceway Park, opened Hollywood Casino and won approval from the Ohio Gaming Commission to transfer Raceway Park to Dayton so it wouldn't compete with its casino operations. The Dayton Racino is scheduled to open next August. Topping tonight's Metro Report, the March of Dimes of Northwest Ohio held their 9th annual bike ride. The event started this morning at Levis Commons in Perrysburg and ended at the Napoleon Harley-Davidson in Napoleon. The bike ride raises money for research to combat birth defects, prematurity, and infant mortality. Today was the final day of the 13th Annual International Festival. The event kicked off on Saturday at the Islamic Center of Greater Toledo in Perrysburg Township. Ethnic food, camel rides, petting zoos, a tour of the center, and a lot more greeted people when they arrived this weekend. For many, this was the first time they've seen the center since an act of arson heavily damaged the mosque last year. Bullets start flying in New York's Times Square, and it's all caught on tape. Coming up on WNWO News at 6 o'clock, we'll have the very latest on what sparked this shootout. Also, a deal appears to be worked out between the UN and Syria, but what does it all mean? We'll find out coming up. Brittany?
Well, Bryant, the fall-like weather continues, but an eventual warm-up is on the way. I'll have your full forecast after the break.
Welcome back, everyone. In less than 1 week, the situation in Syria has gone from the threat of an imminent American attack to an agreement announced by the U.S. and Russia to remove Syria's chemical weapons. But how is this agreement playing out in Syria? Bill Neely reports from Damascus.
Damascus is reeling from the speed of this deal and of events. Remember, not long ago, this city faced American airstrikes, and no one here is completely happy with the deal. On the government side, people I've talked to clearly prefer it to airstrikes, but they find the timetable very tight. President Assad had wanted 30 days to list his chemical weapons. He's been given 7, and the clock is ticking. No official reaction from the president or from his government yet. Remember, he did say, I want to get rid of chemical weapons, but that's the key question. Does anyone trust him? On the rebel side, they don't like this deal at all. The opposition leader, Salam Idris, says he rejects it. He says the Russians and the Syrians are playing games to waste time for a criminal regime. And he's pledged that rebel fighters will keep up this war. In fact, it goes on behind me tonight with the Syrian army continuing to shell rebel-held suburbs. Opposition people say that dozens of citizens have been killed in the last 24 hours, and the battle in the Christian town of Malula goes on. So a deal is done, but the war goes on. Back to you.
Back here in the States, 2 bystanders were wounded when NYPD officers opened fire on a man they described as being emotionally disturbed, and the shooting was all caught on tape. That story tops our look across America. Authorities say officers saw the man weaving erratically through traffic late Saturday night. Police say when officers approached the man, he reached into his pocket as if he were grabbing a weapon. Officers then fired 3 shots, striking one woman in the knee and another woman in the buttocks. No weapons were found on the man, who was taken into custody after another officer subdued the man with a taser. 2 children were found dead in a hotel room after a woman crashed her car miles away and alerted authorities to the kids' bodies. Crime scene investigators from Santa Ana, California police obtained a search warrant Saturday night for a hotel room where the bodies of 2 children were discovered. Authorities discovered their children after the woman who crashed her car a few miles away in Costa Mesa. Police say the woman appeared to be attempting suicide and told police to look in the hotel room. Tropical Storm Manuel and Hurricane Ingrid drenched Mexico today, with the 2 weather systems causing severe flooding that has left thousands in emergency shelters as river levels climb. In southwestern Mexico, Manuel's heavy rains caused rivers to break their banks, which led to severe flooding and the closure of key transportation routes. Cars have been completely submerged in the flood waters, and people are using boats to cross flooded areas. As Tropical Storm Manuel strengthened and drenched coastal towns on Mexico's Pacific coast, Hurricane Ingrid also strengthened off Mexico's Gulf Coast, dumping heavy rain across central and eastern Mexico and causing thousands to seek emergency shelters as river levels climbed.
WNWO voted outstanding weather operation in Ohio. Here's your WNWO forecast.
Well, the fall-like weather continues this weekend for Northwest Ohio and Southeast Michigan. And while all of us saw a sunny start, many of us now dealing with some rain across the area to end it. Let me take you out to a time lapse we picked up early this morning out at St. John's Jesuit. A mix of sun and clouds, a cool start to the day with temperatures in the upper 40s here in the Glass City. And unlike yesterday, cloud cover keeping temperatures in check. We didn't see as nice of a warm up, and especially as clouds thickened through the day, some of those have since let up a few raindrops. A live look at the Maritime Academy of Toledo. Generally overcast skies, just a few light raindrops. So far, no measurable rain reported at the Maritime Academy of Toledo, but I think that will change as we get into the next few hours. So look at current conditions. Here at our South Toledo studios, we're at 65 degrees, light winds out of the north. We did see 70 this afternoon in a few areas that haven't seen the rain yet, still at that 70-degree mark. Currently 70 in Fostoria, 71 in Upper Sandusky. It's now 61 in West Unity. A rain-cooled Adrian, Michigan, coming in at 59 degrees. And speaking of that rain, here's a look at it on triple Doppler radar, what we have seen. Not all of this quite making it to the ground as that dry air has been in place, but the air becoming a little bit more saturated, and we're starting to see a little bit more consistent rainfall, especially as this moves across the Indiana and Ohio border. North of the Michigan border, Michigan-Ohio border, a little bit more steady rainfall as well. That air much more saturated, and they've picked up some measurable rainfall in that area. But there is more to come. A look at the bigger picture as this system treks across the area. Area of low pressure and associated cold front moving almost due east. It is a fast-moving system, which is good news because it'll be out of our hair fairly soon. As we go through the overnight hours, we'll still keep those rain chances out there, but getting closer to sunrise, all of that tracking off to our east. Perhaps a stray shower, areas of drizzle early tomorrow morning, but high pressure settling in by the afternoon. That's going to clear out skies and actually make way towards pretty pleasant conditions, especially as we get into your Tuesday and Wednesday before our next chance of rain arrives. All the meanwhile, we'll be waiting on that warm up. And in fact, tonight a little bit more mild than the last few. 52 our overnight low with scattered showers. A stray shower to start the day tomorrow. Afternoon clearing, still mild, 67 degrees your Monday high. But by Tuesday, we're back towards 70, upper 70s. By Wednesday, even 80s towards the end of the work week with that trade-off as rain chances once again arrive. But a warm-up nonetheless. And I think after this kind of fall-like weekend, 80s sound kind of good. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'll take 80s any day over the oppressive 90s and all that heat and humidity. No one is a fan. Well, very few people, I should say, are fans of that. Thanks a lot, Brittany. All right, well, Tori Cartman's here. Another week of NFL action.
Another week, week 2. We're going to take a look at the Browns today. They faced off against the Ravens, and it was a kind of slow game, to say the least. Not a lot of scoring, so we'll take a look at that, plus some baseball as well. We'll see you after the break.
The
tagline, Toledo Tough, is pretty fitting for this Rockets football team. During Saturday's home opener, Toledo up just 2 points on Eastern Washington at halftime. Plus, Rockets starting QB Terrence Owens was carted off the field in the first quarter with a knee injury. So enter freshman QB Logan Woodside, and he did one heck of a job to get the Rockets' first win, 33-21. The young quarterback went 14 of 24 for 185 yards and 1 TD. That one touchdown, an 81-yard pass to Bernard Reedy for a third quarter score. Now you can't forget about the Rocket defense. They held the Eagles to 377 yards when they've been averaging 611. But back to the QB situation. Coach Campbell says it's something they're prepared for.
I guess more than anything, you know, we've been there, we've done that. I mean, this is my 4th year here, and every single year I've been here, this exact situation's occurred. And so that's why it was so important for Logan to come in the spring to get those 15 practices. You know, we tried to do a really good job of making sure that we just kind of eased Logan into the game a little bit. Maybe from my standpoint of it, I probably called a little bit of a vanilla game in the second quarter just to try to get his feet wet, get him in there. But man, I mean, if you know this kid, man, he's like a gunslinger. He wants the ball in his hand and he wants to go. So, you know, I really just say that we come in at halftime, we open things back up in the second half and let him go, and he certainly did some great things.
NFL Week 2, the Baltimore Ravens at home versus the Cleveland Browns. Both teams coming off Week 1 losses. Not much scoring in the first half. Browns on top 6-0 after 2 field goals by former Ravens kicker Billy Cundiff. First a 21-yarder, then that 51-yarder. And really, that would be the extent of the Browns offense today. Not much of anything. Just 259 total yards. 227 of those yards came from quarterback Brandon Whedon's arm. Only 65 total rushing. Ravens get the win 14-6. Some MLB season finale between AL Central contenders Kansas City and Detroit. Bottom 2, no score. One on for the Tigers. Alex Avila takes that one over the wall and left. A 2-run homer. Tigers up 2-0. Detroit's mad. Max Scherzer having one heck of the game. Gets Eric Hosmer swinging to end the 6th. Through 7 innings, had a dozen strikeouts, just 1 run to the 8th, tied 2-all. Who else but Avila? A solo shot to center to put Detroit up 3-2. His 4th career multi-home run game. Detroit escapes with the win 3-2. Some LPGA action, final round of the Evian Championship in France. Number 2 in the world, Stacy Lewis, entering today's final in the top 4. Round 1, she shot 2 under. Round 2, 4 under. But today, not her best golf. Lewis double bogeyed once, had only 3 birdies. She would finish 2 over on the day, but still, solid finish in the top 6. Norway's Suzanne Pedersen gets the win. And currently, Detroit Lions are up 21-13 over the Cardinals in the 3rd. We'll have those highlights later at 11.
Oh, yeah.
Or after Sunday Night Football, whenever it gets done.
Whenever it gets done, whenever that is. I know one thing that we do know, weather after the break. All right, final story of the night. Here's a story that's going to brighten up your day for sure. The first giant panda born in Taiwan has recently begun to learn how to crawl, but little Yuanzi limbs are still weak and she can't crawl, well, just yet. Oh, just check her out. She's just trying, so determined. You know, the little female cub was born 2 months ago and is the first cub of a pair of giant pandas who were given as a goodwill gift to Taiwan by the Chinese mainland. The panda spends most of her days sleeping, eating, and drinking.
What a life.
And also trying to crawl.
Look
oh,
at
yeah.
Her go. Look at her go.
Oh, she's trying. She's so determined. And then, you know, the whole ordeal of trying to crawl is so taxing that she just has to go to sleep for a while and then eat and drink. You know, I like that life. Maybe I should like go over to Taiwan and have that kind of a deal. I like that. Eat, sleep, and drink.
Me too. I'm living it up.
And if I got paid, it'd even be better. Yeah. That's another story. Let's look at weather for tonight.
Tonight's weather, perfect weather to just eat, sleep, and drink. Yeah. Showers moving across the area, going to be a little bit more mild. The last few nights we've fallen into the 30s and 40s. Tonight, 52 degrees, overcast skies, scattered showers, no heavy rain out there. Most of it clearing out by early tomorrow, but a couple areas of drizzle may be possible. A lot of clouds to start the day, but I do think we'll see partly cloudy skies by afternoon as we start to move some of that out. 67 degrees, your Monday high, but a warm-up is on the way. We'll be back towards 70 by Tuesday. Wednesday going to be warmer, upper 70s before rain chances return by the end of the work week. But with that, we're back into the 80s.
Back into the 80s.
On the upswing.
Oh, I like it.
Before it's too late.
Yeah, that's right. And it's cold and it's doom and gloom. All right. Thanks so much for making us your choice at 6. All three of us back tonight after the game. Have a good night, everyone. Take care and see you later on. Good night. Bye-bye.